So when you're looking for your next rental deal, there are a couple things that you should definitely look out for so that you don't lose money, you don't get stressed out, get frustrated, and skip real estate investing altogether, saying it doesn't work, I tried it. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to get there. So I'm going to go over some things that you should definitely be looking out for when you're shopping for your next deal. Things like keeping your emotions out of it, right? These are all things that will give you a better chance to succeed, to make money, to have a good time doing it, and then be really setting yourself and your family up for some generational wealth. Hey, what's up? My name is Henry. Welcome to the Wong Mindset. So I'm going to go over a couple things that might seem really simple. You might have heard it before, but it's really, really important that you follow these things when you're looking for your next deal. And these are just some of the things that I wanted to point out today. There's a lot more going on, and I'll share a lot more later on. So let's get into it. The first thing and the most important thing, you've heard it a million times, the location, and location. And this is just so that there's a better chance of long-term value, right? Of something that will increase in value over time and increase in rents, having a good flow of tenants all the time, just a line of folks that if one guy leaves, you get another guy, no problem, right? You don't want to run into a case where you're scrounging or trying to strategize too much to try to get that next person or worrying about that next person a little bit too much. And the other thing is it really doesn't matter how the place looks to me. I really don't care if it's in a great location. I don't care how crappy you think it looks. As long as it has good bones and a good setup, I don't really care. And the other side is, I don't care how nice the place is. I don't care if you have a mansion, a new development with the most updated everything, the most beautiful place, but in a crappy location, get that crap out of here. I don't want none of that. And some things to look for in a location are, transportation, schools, and jobs in the area, the crime, and the neighborhood, just the neighborhood feel, right? And any attractions in the area. If there's any new developments and any businesses, shops, things like that are close by, those all factor in. So the next thing you gotta look out for is the cash flow. Does this place make any money? I don't care how nice the location is, how nice the house is, whatever, it seems all set up, but if it doesn't make any money, I don't give a crap. No monies, no honeys. And the other thing is negative cash flow. Even if you think, oh, I'm gonna go negative a little bit just to get this nice house, and don't do that. That is gonna kill you and your goals for life. You wanna make sure that it's always positive cash flow. If you pay a little bit, if you even think you have to pay a little bit, don't do it. That little bit is always gonna turn out to be a lot more than you thought once you get the place and rent it out and start working on it. The other thing is, going negative is going against the whole idea of investing, passive income, cash flow, this whole deal, because the whole idea is to get away from your job. And if you're getting negative cash flow, you're depending on your job again, right? You're not getting further away from depending on your job. I mean, it's great if you love your job, it's very fulfilling, great, good for you. But I'm just saying, setting up something that you're not dependent on. You want to make sure you're not dependent on your job. You can choose to do whatever you want to do. If something comes up, if you can't work anymore, if the company goes away, or if you get too old or get into accident, something, or family emergency, something where you had to step away from your job, or where you couldn't work, you want to make sure you have something set up to cover you in that case. Next thing to look out for is the condition of the property. So I always look at properties where I can add value, right? So there's some basic cosmetic surface level updates or things that I have to do on the property, and only things like that. And also I look for places where I can potentially add an ADU, right? Like a granny unit, something where I can add an extra unit to get some extra rent. This is just so that I have some room for error. If you set it up that way, just in case there's a downturn, or if you run into problems, any issues come up, you have a chance to still make money and still survive out there. And I always look for places where you don't need any major updates, right? Nothing major, especially not layered on things or big jobs that are gonna take a while, that's gonna take a lot of money, and you're gonna have to coordinate a lot just to get done. Especially when you first get started, don't get any deals like that, right? Don't think about it. If there's like maybe one thing you have to do, maybe electrical needs to be done and some paint and some other things, go for it, right? Why not? But if it's a major job, a major updates that need to be done, try to avoid it in the beginning because you don't know what you're doing, right? You don't really know how to handle contractors, right? You don't really know how long it's gonna take. You really don't know everything that you should know, and you're not giving yourself a really good chance if you're taking on a really big job starting off. So the other thing is to stay under the median price. That's just so in case there's a downturn, in case there's any problems, in case anything comes up in this world, you have a better chance at keeping your value. Even if you have the down payment, that's nice, right? You can pay for a bigger place. I would still say look for places that are under median, right? If it's a good deal, it's a good deal, go for it. But if you could, stay under median. If there's a downturn, it'll go down slower, right? If you're way above the median, you take a bigger hit, and maybe when you're trying to get back to that original price, it's gonna take you longer. So keep that in mind. Last thing that I wanna mention today is existing tenants, right? So maybe that's not a problem for you, but where I'm from in San Francisco, first you're gonna end up inheriting tenants a lot of times. And the other thing is tenants have all the rights here. So this is a big deal, like something that you should think about. If you are in a case where you have to live with those tenants for a long time, you don't know when they're gonna move out, and you really can't kick anybody out or give them notice and say, oh, you're gonna move next month. In those cases, this is what you want to make sure you do. Make sure to chat with the tenants, maybe during the walkthrough or whenever you get a chance, or maybe even you go back to look at the place again. Find a time where you can actually have a chat with the existing tenants, see what kind of concerns they have, what kind of issues they have, if there's anything that they wanna bring up, anything like that. That's the time to get to know them and to get some more info, right? You can see if there's any red flags, like things you wanna avoid. Like you're like, oh, maybe this is not a deal I wanna get into. But you know what, most of the time people are just normal families, working families, trying to get by, trying to do well. And that's great, right? Those tenants are perfect. But if there's any red flags, anything you notice, that could be something you could avoid. You could say, oh, you know what, maybe I won't get into this one. This sounds like there's a little too much going on. So at least find out, right? Have a chat with them. Don't just walk by them and look at the house and just think that that's it and move on, right? Sometimes it's good to take a second and chat with folks and just find out a little bit more about what's going on. All right, so hopefully you'll keep some of these things in mind the next time you go out to shop for a rental. I know there's a lot of things that can mess you up, but these are some of the things that I think are really big that can really help you out if you keep in mind. And as long as you constantly do your research, right? You're constantly learning and growing and keep that right mindset, or keep the Wong mindset, I think you're gonna be just fine. So thanks for watching, and I'll chat with you in the next one.